You're watching KOIN TV, Channel 6. Live from the heart of Portland, the news station for Oregon and Southwest Washington. This is Newsroom 6.
Good evening, I'm Marcia Coffey.
And I'm Mike Donahue. We've come to the end of primary election day in Washington State, where a record number of voters chose their nominees to the state's two highest offices.
And those races are wide open because neither incumbent is running for re-election. In the race for the U.S. Senate seat being vacated by Brock Adams, you can see with 23% of the statewide vote in the Democratic race, Patty Murray is leading with 29% of the vote to Don Bonker's 21%. And on the Republican side, Ron Chandler is leading there with 21% of the vote to Leo Thorsness 14% and Tim Hill's 11%.
Washington's chief executive race also is wide open. Booth Gardner will not run for re-election, and former Congressman Mike Lowry will be the Democratic nominee. He's from the Seattle area, and he has handily defeated Vancouver's own Joe King tonight. Among the Republicans, Sid Morrison and Ken Eikenberry. Morrison, the congressman, Eikenberry, the attorney general, in almost a dead heat right now. Morrison with a slight lead.
Washington's 3rd congressional district covers the southwestern part of the state, and incumbent Jolene Unsold is winning the Democratic nomination by a wide margin there, you can see. On the Republican side, we see Pat Fisk ahead there at 22%.
Washington's 4th congressional district is a huge district covering the entire central part of the state, from the Oregon border all the way to Canada. Right now, Doc Hastings has the early lead there. Among the Republicans, among the Democrats, Jay Inslee and Jim Jersinig are in a close race.
And in the race for Attorney General, you see Joel Pritchard there, I believe, is leading that race. Pritchard has become the nominee, I am told. Joe Pritchard has become the nominee for Attorney General.
Winner of the Republicans' nod for U.S. Senate, Rod Chandler, tonight said he wants to change the liberal Congress of which he is a member.
The people want a senator who will fight to control spending. They want a senator who will fight to reform health care. A senator who will fight to create jobs.
Right now, it appears Chandler will face Democrat Patty Murray in November, a first-term state senator. She is leading Don Bonker, a former congressman.
Vancouver's Joe King says he's heading into the private sector after tonight's loss. King is well behind Democratic primary leader Mike Lowry in the race for governor. Just minutes ago, King said Lowry deserves tonight's win.
That the system works. I don't want people bitter or embittered. The system has worked. Mike has paid his dues. He's a courageous politician who's been out there for years telling those fields, and we're going to go over and share that with him and congratulate him and go forward with him. So,
Lowry said his victory is a win for grassroots support over big money and big business. Well, they've been counting votes since 8 at election headquarters in Vancouver tonight.
And Craig Cheatham has been along with them. He's been watching that vote count along with some anxious candidates. Craig, are they about finished counting?
Well, they wish they were about finished counting, Mike. In fact, they probably won't wrap up until after midnight. It's been a long night already. It's going to get a little bit longer because the longer you count the votes, the slower you get. Even though these folks are working as hard as they can, they'll probably be here at least another hour. Despite what is predicted to be a record turnout in Washington, more than 1 million voters, it was not a record turnout in Clark County. In fact, only 1 out of 3 people showed up at the polls. This will be a long night, however, for politicians and election workers. Clark County voters cast ballots for 22 offices in a levy. It is a huge primary. But as election results rolled in, many political observers showed frustration at the lack of voter turnout.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Giving power to the voter, we did that 200 years ago when we established our form of government by the people. The problem isn't that the system has failed the people. The people have failed the system.
A key race for Southwest Washington is in Congressional District 3. Republican Pat Fisk is trying to unseat veteran Democratic Congresswoman Jolene Unsold.
We want decisions, we want change, and I really believe the only way that'll happen is if we have new people in Congress.
Jolene Unsold has proved in the 4 years she's been in Congress that she's an effective legislator. She's passed legislation to ban large-scale drift nets. She's fought for things in Southwest Washington, and she's proven that she can get things done.
Election workers will be counting votes late into the night. But Mike and Marcia, hopefully they'll be wrapping up here in about an hour. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll probably be around here with them, and we'll have more on the election tomorrow morning on Newsroom 6.
Been a busy night. Thanks, Craig.
In New York Senate primary tonight, former vice presidential candidate Geraldine Ferraro is refusing to concede to State Attorney General Robert Abrams, who is declaring victory, calling his slight lead insurmountable. The winner takes on Republican Alphonse D'Amato. A comeback story in the District of Columbia, where Marion Barry won the Democrats' nomination to a city council seat. The former mayor just got out of prison in April after serving 6 months for cocaine possession. In Connecticut's Republican Senate race tonight, businessman Brooke Johnson defeated Gulf War veteran Chris Burnham. In Minnesota, pro-choice Congressman Jerry Sikorsky, who wrote nearly 700 bad checks, is in a dead heat with Tad Judd, who's pro-life.
A new nationwide poll finds Bill Clinton still in the driver's seat as the campaign travels its last 7 weeks. Clinton's margin over President Bush remains 12% in the CBS New York Times poll. Neither candidate enjoys widespread popularity, though. Fewer than 1 of 3 people surveyed gives Clinton or Bush a favorable rating. Ross Perot's name will appear on many state ballots. When Perot is added to the poll, he takes more away from Clinton than he does from Bush. Polls, of course, measure only the popular vote, not the electoral vote, which is the one that counts.
Bush and Clinton both spoke to a National Guard meeting in Salt Lake City today. The president did not directly criticize Clinton's draft record, but he did raise questions about the governor's fitness to command the armed forces.
They matter because despite all our problems at home, we can never forget that we ask our presidents to lead the military, to bear the awful authority of deciding to send your sons and daughters in harm's way.
Every president in the last half century has had to confront the fateful decision to put some Americans in harm's way. I do not relish this prospect, but neither do I shrink from it.
Clinton said his budget includes more money for the National Guard than Bush's does.
Portlanders knew all along it was coming. Mother Nature finally rolled some rain clouds our way. About a ½ inch of rain fell in many parts of the Portland metro area today. That's more of the wet stuff than we've seen for almost 2 months, and it brought out lots of umbrellas. It also brought out talk of the drought in the past tense.
We got through it okay. It was a beautiful summer, and I enjoyed it, and I think most people have.
Hopefully, the worst of it is over. Maybe we'll get a great snowpack this year. That would be super.
You're thinking that this rain that we're standing in right now is the start of something big?
Oh, I hope.
But don't use the past tense just yet. The folks who are keeping a daily eye on Portland's water supply say we're not out of the woods yet. Water experts say it will take months of rain to replenish the Bull Run system. And Portland's water restrictions, yes, they do remain in effect.
Stay up with us for the story of an actress accused of bank robbery.
And we'll show you why some safety groups claim that GM trucks are unsafe.
The latest vehicle from GM has no moving parts. It uses no gas. It's made entirely of plastic that turns into steel. The new GM MasterCard. Every time you use it, GM will credit 5% of your purchase toward a new car or truck from GM. That could mean hundreds, even thousands of dollars in savings over and above any other discounts or rebates. And there's no annual fee. The GM card, the new financial vehicle.
Something's happening. People are ready because they've had enough. Enough of seeing their incomes fall behind and their jobs on the line. Enough of a government that just doesn't work. They're ready for change. And changing people's lives, that's the work of his life. 12 years battling the odds in one of our nation's poorest states, Arkansas now leads the nation in job growth. Incomes are rising at twice the national rate. 17,000 people move from welfare to work. That's progress, and that's what we need now. Change, real solutions. Bill Clinton has an economic plan to rebuild America that invests in our own people. Education, training, 8 million new jobs in the next 4 years. A new direction. Those making over $200,000 have to pay more. The rest of us get a break. It's a plan to put people first again. And 6 Nobel Prize economists say it'll work. But don't take their word. Read it yourself. For people, for a change. Bill Clinton for president.
So how do you like this new car? I love it. It's great. It's new. But tell me what it's going to be like years from now. Tell me like a Subaru Legacy, it has a horizontally opposed engine that can rack up the miles, that it offers anti-lock brakes like a Legacy so my new car can become an old car. Tell me, give me names. A name like Bill Sandstrom has driven his Subaru 330,000 miles. Stop talking news. Start talking sense. Tell me, I got the money. I want to know what to drive.
Save up to $3,000 at your local Subaru dealer today.
In America's marketplace last month, prices didn't rise much, but consumers weren't buying much, either here or abroad. Retail sales dropped 0.5%. That's the biggest drop in 5 months. Sales for cars and appliances fell the most. The stagnant economy still managed to keep a lid on prices, the inflation rate rising a modest 0.3%. That news, combined with second quarter figures showing that America's trade deficit tripled, put investors in a selling mood. In heavy trading, they all but erased yesterday's big gain with a 48-point loss for the blue chips today.
The U.S. Senate today refused to spend $500 million to rebuild Florida's Homestead Air Force Base. The base was scheduled for closure anyway as part of a federal budget cutting. But after Hurricane Andrew devastated it, President Bush changed his mind and promised to rebuild it. Today, on Homestead's 50th birthday, the Senate refused to go along with that request.
While the Senate was saving $500 million on the Air Force Base, it was also spending 22 times that much in other disaster relief aid. The Senate tonight approved spending $10.5 billion to help rebuild Kauai, southern Florida, and Louisiana after Hurricanes Iniki and Andrew.
An auto safety group is charging that millions of pickup trucks on the road are in danger of exploding in flames in an accident. Mike McGarity has been through countless skin graft surgeries after an accident that claimed the life of his best friend. His General Motors pickup truck burst into flames.
I couldn't believe that they would build a truck with gas tanks on the outside of the frame, and the only thing protecting it is the sidewall of the truck.
A safety watchdog called the Center for Auto Safety is asking the government to immediately recall Chevrolet and GMC full-sized pickups produced between 1973 and 1987, which have saddle fuel tanks. The center says the tanks are far more likely to catch fire, causing severe burns like McGarity's and even death. GM issued a statement saying it believes its full-size pickups meet the safety standards of GM's customers.
A Portland woman who stood briefly in Hollywood's spotlight stands tonight in the Justice Center jail, accused of robbing banks. You might remember her in this bit part in the movie An Officer and a Gentleman. Now Shannon Grimes faces charges that she robbed the Far West Federal Bank on Southeast Woodstock in Portland. The teller who took the robbery note remembers the day well.
I want hundreds, 50s, and 20s, and then it had some ending too, but I don't remember what that said. So I did my best to comply, and as I was giving her her requested denominations, she said, "I want more."
The FBI believes the pictures recorded by at least 3 bank surveillance cameras are pictures of Grimes. Actress Lisa Elbacher worked with Grimes in An Officer and a Gentleman, running alongside her in scenes shot along Puget Sound.
And at that time, she was having some rough luck. She was a young mother. She was going through some kind of breakup, I think, with a husband or a boyfriend.
Grimes' work on the movie ended with a car accident that broke both her legs. Grimes then faded from the public eye until now.
The small town of Philomath, Oregon today won its battle with organized labor and the federal government. The government backed down from its threat to pull the plug on matching funds for the city's library project. Volunteers are building that library. Organized labor asked the government to cut off funding since federal rules say the workers must be paid the prevailing wage. But the volunteers building the library kept on working anyway, daring the government to stop helping town volunteers help themselves. It apparently worked. The federal government gave Philomath the okay to keep building its library using federal money and volunteer labor.
Sports news is next with Ann Schatz. The Orioles are trying to catch the Blue Jays.
And we'll run down the scores and the highlights when we come back.
As Sorrento tries to score, now he's back to third. Real cat and mouse game going on here.
It's our first new car.
Your Toyota dealer invites you to discover the all-new Corolla.
After the baby, we needed something a little bigger.
More room than ever before with a standard driver's side airbag and available ABS.
We needed something we felt we could depend on.
Plus, Corolla's reputation for value and reliability that Toyota dealers have been delivering for over 25 years.
Afford it? The only hard part was choosing the color.
Rediscover value at your Toyota dealer and discover Corolla again.
Well, in a trickle-down economy, by the time it does come down to the working man, there really isn't anything left.
All the trickle-down means to me is lower wages.
It's just been going on too long, and I think it's time for a change.
I see Packwood as play the game as the game's been played.
He's been taking care of what Bush and Reagan thinks best.
I think we need some changes. With someone like KOIN, he's got some new ideas, and I think he's out there really fighting for the average person.
Last month, we were on our biggest job when a bad storm started moving in. I found a phone. Too bad I couldn't find my calling card. So I got a calling card from US West. Now I can call from anywhere with no access codes or long ID numbers to memorize, just 4 numbers I choose. That's so simple, I don't even need to carry a card. Now calling to update our schedule is the easy part of my day.
Call for your free US West Express calling card, the card you don't even need to carry. US West Communications, making the most of your time.
Builder's lighting. Start dreaming in color, all vivid and bright. Imagine the shades, the dark and the light. We're just what you thought we would be, just what you hoped you would see. Beautiful. Builder's lighting.
Newsroom 6 Sports is brought to you by your local Chevy Geo dealers.
Some terrific ball games in the Bigs tonight, so let's get right to it, huh? First stop, Camden Yards in Baltimore. The Charging O's hosting KC. Keep your eyes on the big fella battling Gary Thurman for the foul ball. Fan doesn't need a glove. No, sir. Bare hands it. This game wasn't decided until the 14th. Steve Scarsoni can't run worth a lick, but he'll slide in there all the same. Baltimore nips the Royals 2-1. Keeping the heat on Toronto in the AL East. But the O's are still chasing the Jays. And speaking of chases, let's cut right to it. The Blue Jays' Alfredo Griffin doesn't know what Indian to nail in the rundown. And I'll tell you, this guy's wearing me out. Griffin finally gets his man, and the Jays nip Cleveland 5-4 to maintain that 4-game lead in the East. The Mariners get clobbered again, and they are showing signs of frustration. Eric Gunderson hits a pair of Angels. And then Luis Polonia has to bail out there after the wild pitch. Luis gets mad and wants to get even. Charges after the former PSU ace with his batting helmet. You know the rest. The Angels cruise 9-zip. Seattle has lost 12 straight. Oakland takes another step towards the AL West flag, nipping fading Minnesota. Former Beaver pitcher Pat Mahomes was tough on the hill until Ricky Henderson ignited an A's rally in the 6th. Oakland takes it 2-1. The A's now lead the Twins by 8 fat ball games. The Pale Hosts stop the Yankees in another AL game. The Jays nip Cleveland, and the Orioles go extras to keep pace. Break up the brew. They're on a hot streak, and it's Texas over the Tigers. Finally, the Angels mop up in Seattle. Check out the Buccos and Cards and the speed merchant, Mark Clark. Right field hit, but Alex Cole will nail him at first. Score at 9-3 at home. Pittsburgh beat St. Louis 4-2. So the Bucs stay 4 in front of the Expos. Montreal can't gain any ground. The Reds beat Atlanta. The Dodgers win in San Diego. The Mets over the Cubbies in a rain-shortened affair at Wrigley, and the Astros beat the Giants in 11. Jay Schrader's out. Todd Marinovich is in as the Raiders quarterback. Schrader broke the news on a Portland sports talk show earlier this morning. Kind of weird after one of his best games as a Raider this past Sunday. And Bernie Kosar will be out till at least November. Right here is when it happened last night, a broken right ankle. Only a hairline fracture, though, and Bernie played the entire second half in the Browns' comeback loss to the Dolphins. Finally, big-name tennis returns to Portland tomorrow night. John McEnroe headlines the singles and doubles exhibition matches at Memorial Coliseum. Now, McEnroe will face Medford's Jonathan Stark in singles action. Stark is really coming into his own in singles and doubles, but it's the one-on-one challenge of playing Johnny Mac that pumps up Mr. Stark.
He's kind of been my idol, since I was growing up, and I love to watch him play. And he's John McEnroe. So I think, when I walk out there, I definitely will feel some nerves and be tight.
And Jonathan will team up with John's brother, Patrick McEnroe, one of the best up-and-coming doubles partners in this country.
It's fun to have those big names come to Portland. Maybe they'll break a racket here or something.
Well, if John McEnroe's here, yeah, look out.
For sure. Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
Hey, stay with us. We've got the Spruce Goose, a flood in Iowa, and the Trailblazers wrapping when we come back.
It's Chevy Rock Solid Value Days. Now get an incredible $1,900 value on Chevy CK pickup. J.D. Power and Associates rank it the best full-size pickup in initial quality. It has more standard horsepower than Ford and the best resale value of any full-size pickup. Now during Rock Solid Value Days, it pays to get Chevy trucks. The trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last.
For the #1 truck and customer satisfaction, see your Northwest Chevrolet Geo dealer today.
You're a professional, and you have a professional attitude.
Product. It represents a substantial investment to our firm. Let me give you an example.
Of course, you expect the best.
The opportunity to make this presentation. During the next few minutes, I'm going to introduce to you a new marketing concept.
At City University, we like your attitude, and we provide the best. At City University, we are your window.
There are lots of firsts in life where First Interstate Bank just can't help you. But there are firsts where First Interstate can be a big help, like helping you fulfill a dream. Then we'll do everything possible to make it come true. And because there's so many times when no one can help you, when it comes to banking, come to First Interstate Bank and we'll go out of our way to help you, as long as we can.
At Greve, we often celebrate the magic of style with a special event that brings you our most extraordinary discoveries. September 11th through 26th, Carl Greve celebrates with our Fitz & Floyd Trunk Show, featuring over 1,000 selected items of Fitz & Floyd at 20% savings. Gift items for special holiday occasions, as well as the complete line of Fitz & Floyd dinnerware, and register for weekly drawings of free Fitz & Floyd prizes. We invite you to celebrate the magic of style and the art of exceptional value at Carl Greve.
Newsroom 6 weather is brought to you by Subaru. What to drive?
Heidi, is that it for our rain today?
That's it. That's what we got. But we picked up quite a bit. In fact, more than we thought. Rainfall amounts totaled them up, and Portland came out as a big winner for rainfall. I'll look at my map. 49/100ths of an inch. You have to go way back to August to see rain this heavy. In fact, August 6th, we saw just about a ½ inch of rain, so it's been over a month. The other winner for rainfall, along the coast, Tillamook picked up 72/100ths of an inch. Cloudy and cool with the words for today. 61 degrees in Portland. That's about 15 degrees below normal. But check out these temperatures. 57 for high in Pendleton. Only 54 in Walla Walla. It was 30 degrees warmer down to the south in Medford as they hit a high temperature right around 84 degrees. Currently, the clouds remain around the Portland area. 56 is our temperature and our dew point. That puts our relative humidity around 100%. Very good chance of some fog forming out there. Could be thick by the morning hours. Around the nation, rainfall has been a problem for Iowa. They saw a lot of rain in 24 hours. A look at the table will show you. This used to be a highway. Now it's a river. That's I-35. It closed in south central Iowa due to high water. Van Wert, Iowa picked up 16 inches of rain. Tumwell, Iowa, 6.5 inches of rain. All of that came in about 24 hours. Look at that cornfield, completely underwater. Back at the map, you can see the heaviest rains now right around the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Reports out of that region saying around 8 inches of rain have fallen there. Flash flood watches are up for the entire region. West Coast satellite picture, nothing like that. No flooding out here. The rains we received, we really needed. This is the satellite loop. We'll start off and show you. The big thing to watch is the clouds as they dissipate over the last 24 hours. See, that's that front weakening, and we've basically seen most of the rain die out, and the rain has been dying off. And put the fronts on for you. Not much frontal system left. We're actually seeing a little bit of high pressure move in. The high is going to be sitting right here for the next 24 hours or so. We'll see clearing tonight. Fog's going to be the problem, and then another system was going to move down on Thursday. This system was a strong one for Alaska. In fact, brought snows to right around Fairbanks, 16 inches of snow. Nothing like that for us. Most of it's going to go into Canada. Tail end of the front will hit us come Thursday. Forecast for tonight should be dry around the state, maybe a few leftover sprinkles just along the central coastline, but everywhere else should be dry. Look for fog forming along the coast and in western valleys. That will be the big forecast problem for you, for travelers especially. Tomorrow, a warmer day throughout the whole whole region. In fact, temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Some places that were in the 50s today will hit 70, especially in the northeastern part of the state. Details for Portland and Vancouver, cloudy with the fog forming by the morning hours. The high temperature 69, and then look at that by the weekend. Mostly sunny, temperatures in the mid-70s, Mike, so going to feel like summer. Last weekend of summer, too.
We'll hope for some more rainy surprises. Marcia.
When we come back, we'll update the Washington primary results. Stay with us.
Families are big business, so everybody says theirs is a family car. All right, tell me it has 90 cubic feet of passenger space like a Subaru Legacy. Enough room for 5 so you're close but not touching me close. Tell me it has a quiet, horizontally opposed engine like the Legacy. There's enough noise already with a family. Tell me it offers all-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. A family car is for my family, not some other family I don't care so much about. Tell me I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
Save up to $3,000 at your local Subaru dealer today.
Now, for $4 or less a day, the Oregonian's economy classifieds can take anything up to $10,000 and make it fly. The Oregonian's economy classifieds at $4 or less a day. It's the cheapest way to make anything fly.
Here's what people are saying about new President's Choice products at Fred Meyer.
Delicious. And the fact that it'll be less expensive is a bonus.
Have you tried the decadent chocolate chip cookies?
I eat lots of chocolate chip cookies, and these are much better.
It's moist, it has more flavor, more chips.
The chocolate chips are bigger.
My grandkids get more cookies for the same price.
President's Choice tasted more like homemade.
Try new decadent chocolate chip cookies from President's Choice at Fred Meyer for people who love great food and lower prices.
Can I have another one?
Gosh, I have everything I need for my house.
Come on, are you sure? Because during Mervyn's home sale, everything's on sale at unbelievable prices.
Maybe a couple of towels.
Only a couple? Caress cotton towels are just $2.99. In fact, all Mervyn's towels are on sale.
I could use some new sheets.
Caress sheet sets and 6 patterns are 50% off.
Pillows, blankets, rugs. And don't even get me started on the kitchen.
Get started at Mervyn's. If it's in our home store, it's on sale now.
And recapping tonight's gubernatorial and Senate races in Washington State, Mike Lowry is the Democratic nominee. He will face either Sid Morrison or Ken Eikenberry in the governor's race. Right now, Morrison leads Eikenberry by about 5 percentage points for the Republican nomination.
The two Senate nominees are Democrat Patty Murray and Republican Rod Chandler. And in the Attorney General's race, Democrat Chris Gregoire will face Republican Norm Malink.
And finally tonight, Long Beach, California residents have had their last look at one of the world's most famous airplanes, the Spruce Goose. The plane flew only once with Howard Hughes at the controls. Since then, it's sat inside a Long Beach hangar. Workers are taking the plane apart to be shipped to its new home and reassembled in McMinville, Oregon. Long Beach residents are just beginning to realize what they have lost.
Our game. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Bye-bye.
For 25 years, triple trailers have been held to a higher safety standard, and they have a much better safety record than other trucks. Now there's a move to ban them, and it's stirring up a lot of emotions. But decisions that affect thousands of lives should be based on the record, not on fear. The bottom line is this: if you put more vehicles on the road, you'll end up with more accidents and more fatalities. Think about it.
Vote no on Measure 4.